Friends, come the months of December, January, and February, we see most states reeling with pollution in the air. New Delhi witnesses unprecedented pollution. In fact, worst air pollution of any global capital, according to the World Air Quality Reports from IQ Air, which is published every year. A variety of factors cause this distress and misery. This Saturday, let me highlight some concerns, some challenges, and probably the way forward. Kanpur, Faridabad, Gaya, Varanasi are all polluted, where particle matter concentration, or what we call as PM 2.5, is much above the threshold. 6 of the world's most polluted cities are in India. Fine particulates means fine particles in the air, suspended, specks of dust, and suit 30 times smaller than a human hair, can cause stroke, can cause heart disease, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and even lung cancer, according to the World Health Organization. It estimates the air pollution as claiming 4.2 million lives worldwide every year. 90% of the world's population breathes harmful air. Friends, is it not time then we acknowledge the problem and make long-term, amends so that at least our tier 1 societies are a little better, where the pollution is maximum? Among the multitude of factors that affect pollution, at least in the urban areas, two-stroke engines, poor fuel quality, old vehicles, inadequate maintenance, congested traffic, poor road conditions, old automobiles, and poor traffic management are all the top causes that cause pollution. Use of electric vehicles could be an answer, since hydrocarbon emission will be the least. Can a bold decision be taken to phase out our petrol and diesel vehicles or the internal combustion engine vehicles, paving the way for greater adoption of electric vehicles at least by 2040? Several incentives may have to be announced for vehicles operating on cleaner energy, such as rebates for early adoption and the revision of road taxes for qualifying vehicles. Can we introduce a vehicle emission scheme, VES, like they do in Singapore, where a certain rebate is given or a surcharge is levied, depending on the vehicle's emissions? It is imperative to tackle the scourge of traffic congestion, which continues to exact the carbon toll. Among many benefits, there is no emission for electric vehicles. Now, since there is no fuel, it's easy on the environment, generating half the emissions, of an average comparable diesel car. Even as pollution from battery manufacturing is accounted for. Even battery manufacturing creates pollution. It's not that an electric vehicle is completely free of pollution. Running costs are low, since electricity is cheaper than petrol, and being less noisy, maintenance is low, less frequent, and less expensive. On the flip side, however, they tend to shorten the commute time, since most electric vehicles have short ranges and the recharging takes considerable amount of time. Is the wish to move to electric vehicles by 2040 achievable? Probably yes. What would be the impact on current internal combustion engines that support almost 300 ancillaries? Would there be job losses? And any new technology, for that matter, initially tends to shift the employment markets. It seeks new skills, sets, and stresses on reskilling, upskilling, and so on. In the long run, however, it tends to create new employment markets that are better, larger, and greener. Deloitte estimated that the global electric vehicle market will reach a tipping point in a couple of years from now, when the cost of ownership of a vehicle, of an electric vehicle, is comparable to that of a petrol vehicle or an IC engine vehicle. It may, however, result in some supply gap, which means that the rates have to go up. If addressed adequately, it could spur new manufacturing activity that could further spur the economy upwards. Moving forward, complete electrification of the private public road transport sectors and two-wheelers could mean a big leap into the future. Electric vehicle sharing could be another option that must be explored. A dense national charging infrastructure will be required, and that can trigger new business opportunities. And a judicial cost premium of owning an electric vehicle could even add revenue to the government. Driving range and time to charge, they're all problems, but of the battery technology, and they must be addressed. The battery suppliers and research institutions must come together all over the world, and they need to address the concerns. How many charging points will be required is also a major constraint to the technology adoption. We should also start thinking about how we can couple charging infrastructure to solar and battery systems to reduce the dependency on the gas fueled systems. Further, we need to recognize that the future may also see fuel cells, hydrogen, and biofuels as potential green solutions. It's very heartening that the recent budget also allocates money for research into hydrogen as a fuel. Norway, the happening state for electric vehicles, offers a perspective. It's the world's largest per capita market in electric vehicles and has more than 1,500 public charging points for every million people. With over 8,500 charging points, the electric vehicle share of sales is around 30%, and it covers almost 2,000 square kilometers of the urban Norway. It even offers free charging service and special vehicle access to certain roads and certain parking slots. Several automobile manufacturers and SIAM in the country would be more than willing to help our country in the adoption of the electric vehicles. Friends, in a country where the number of middle class households has been ever increasing, families can now afford 2 cars, not just one. And that increases to the congestion on the roads. If a private or commercial vehicle ownership is desired, the government probably can levy a certain fee as a pragmatic policy to contain the numbers, where it's called the entitlement price. Now, a target of zero vehicular growth and the vehicle emissions scheme can be done as they do in many developed countries. Obviously, an ideal car-less traffic comes at a huge price. People have to travel for work. Now, the fight for green energy and environment calls for radical measures. Can we phase out our old petrol and diesel vehicles in the next decade or so? Can we target our commercial fleets or swap, out a fleet of taxis or delivery vans to create a quick and huge impact on the environment, on the carbon emission? Of course, it means we have to upskill the technical personnel to ensure the reliability of our future electrified transport ecosystem. The new skill opportunities, the new job opportunities will be very, very welcome. More than 20 cities around the world have already taken some steps for electrification of their private and public transport system. Can't our major cities at least follow suit? Innovation around the charging infrastructure and its intelligent distribution, new businesses and financing models, and an enhanced consumer experience will be the key enablers for such a transformation. Whether we like or not, probably IC engines are on their last lap. More than 9 countries have announced bans, in the last few years. Last December, Paris, Madrid, Athens, and Mexico City have said they would remove the diesel vehicles and vans by 2025. Even Norway has said the same. Followed by France and United Kingdom, who said by 2040 and 2050 they would remove the petrol or the IC engine vehicles and get electric vehicles to support the transport. Friends, that is some wisdom to think about over the weekend. I will end the episode here with a promise to be back the next Saturday with yet another episode. Until then, thank you, Dhanyavad and Namaskar.